YouTube, good evening. Wanted to show you some factual proof of what Iraq's doing to you within their media. Okay. First off, guys, the central bank and the government are autonomous. That was a law they voted on. I believe it was approximately back in 2012. So again, with the central bank and the government being autonomous, the government has no decision making or decisions, period, in adjusting the exchange rate. It's 100% in the hands of the central bank, and that's proven to you right here. Al Sudani resolves the position on the rechange of the dollar exchange rate and calls the term corruption pandemic. Read the red highlight right there in print. The Central Bank of Iraq as the only concerned party in changing or restoring the dollar exchange rate. So this article is proven to you factually that yes, they're autonomous, and the new Prime Minister, Sudani, is stating that the central bank is the only party that can change or restore the dollar change rate, period. It's only in the hands of the central bank to make that decision and do it and perform it, okay? So just wanted to show that to you factually. Now, these due to insider trading laws, the central bank cannot and will not ever tell you that they have plans of increasing the exchange rate. They can't, they won't, okay? Right here's an article directly from today, November 9th. The central bank states our reserves have reached 90 billion and there is no change in the exchange rate in the 23 budget. And then near the middle, there's a yellow highlight. In the yellow highlight, it says there is no intention at the present time to change the exchange rate that he described. So the central bank is blatantly tell you that regarding the 23 budget and the 23 budget period, they have no intentions of adjusting the exchange rate, okay? They can't tell you that they're going to increase it in any way. The central bank cannot due to insider trading laws, okay? Now, here's another article right here. It says Parliamentary Finance clarifies the return of the dollar exchange rate. In red, changing the dollar exchange rate is related to the decisions of the central bank, pointing out that the bank has assurances that the exchange rate will continue without any change, at least during the next year. Okay? Right here, here's another one. Economist, reducing the dollar exchange rate is not impossible and the current time is suitable for monetary change. But guys, you got to look at the source of the article. This is from an economic expert, okay? Remember, I just proved to you factually that the central bank is the only one that can tell you, or I'm sorry, not even tell you, but the central bank is the only one, period, that can make the decision to adjust the exchange rate. This is from an economic expert, okay? He would be more on the government side than the central bank, but he says decreasing the dollar exchange rate is not impossible, and he is promoting it, indicating that the current next 2 years are the most appropriate time to bring this monetary change. So the next 2 years is the appropriate time. Now go back to the article right before it. They said, pointing out that the bank has assurances that the exchange rate will continue without any change, at least during the next year. Okay? Here they're telling you the next 2 years are the most appropriate time to bring about monetary change. Okay? Right here, Iraqi premier to raise the Iraqi dinar value. Now, he works for the government, not the central bank. I just showed you, first article. Only the central bank can make the decision to adjust or change the exchange rate. Okay, now here's what they're telling you. Anytime that the government officials talk about adjusting the exchange rate, the government is telling you that they only want to adjust the exchange rate and put it back to where it was when they devalued back in December of 2020, okay? They want to reverse it from where it's at today of around 1,460 back to around 1180, okay? 1180, 1190, the 1200 range, okay? They want to devalue it to reduce the inflation. Read the highlights. That's what this article talks about, is how rising commodity prices rose, spiking and causing inflation. So they're telling you that when the government officials, not the central bank, government officials talk about adjusting the exchange rate, They want to put it back to around 1200 to 1180 to reduce the inflation. This article tells you that. It says right in it that the rising commodity prices was part of global inflation. Okay? So they're not telling you that they want to raise the exchange rate above zero to go international. And by the way, they have to raise the exchange rate greater than zero to go international. That's not what they're telling you here. They're telling you that they want to reduce the inflation to make goods and services, commodity prices more affordable for the citizens. That's all they're telling you when the government talks about adjusting the exchange rate. Here's another article stating that same thing to you. It says the restoration of the old exchange rate means reducing the value of prices in the Iraqi market and indirectly helps the poor citizen to face high prices, meaning reduce the inflation, making goods and services more affordable. When you look at this, there's no way in hell Iraq is going to tell you they plan to increase the exchange rate greater than zero. You have to look at their actions, okay? You've got to look at their actions in this. What are they doing? You have to put this entire investment under a microscope and look at it very closely to see what their actions are and what they're doing, because there's no way in hell they're going to tell you that they plan to adjust that exchange rate, okay? You have to observe their actions. What are they doing? Not studying this by what they're telling you, because again, due to insider trading laws, they will never tell you that they plan to increase the exchange rate. The central bank, I just showed you numerous articles directly from the central bank. Here was one saying there is, again, central bank, there is no intention at the present time to change the exchange rate. Here's another one, okay? This is from the parliamentary finance, but he says the exchange rate will continue without any change during the next 2 years. And right here, the next 2 years are the most appropriate time to bring about this monetary change. So as you see, guys, there's no way in hell they're going to tell you what they plan to do regarding the exchange rate or when they plan to do it. There is no truth here. They're lying to you across the board. That's why you have to study their actions. Now, here's another, and again, this article right here from the new prime minister, he states that their only goal is to adjust the exchange rate to reduce commodity prices and inflation to make goods and services more affordable to the citizens, which is also exactly what this article here in red, that red highlight. The restoration of the old exchange rate means a reduction in the value of prices in the Iraqi market, indirectly helps the poor citizen to face the high prices. That's it. Reduce prices and inflation, guys. Now, here's an article that came out back earlier in the month, and I've removed some key details because this is how we study on Patreon, okay? On Patreon, and guys, I'll put a link below this video to Patreon for you, so if you'd like to join, you're more than welcome to. Here's the real truth right now. You have to look at what Iraq's doing based on their actions, not what they tell you, because there's no way in hell they're going to tell you the truth, okay? So you have to look at their actions. This article, I removed some key verbiage in it, okay? Because, you know, we found this and we're not going to broadcast this all over the internet, okay? What they stated, here's the reality and the truth in this. Iraq cannot adjust an exchange rate in the middle of a budget period simply because budgets are calculated off the value of their currency. If the currency were to change in value, it would end up changing all the budget figures and they would have to amend it. They're not going to do that, okay? Again, they cannot change or adjust an exchange rate in the middle of a budget period. They have to do it at the beginning of the budget period or at the end of the budget period. Now, what this article stated, see, right now, Iraq is in an active budget period. It's called the Food and Security Law. So what this article stated is they announced something that they're going to be doing with the Food and Security Law. And because of what they're doing, because of what they announced in this article as to what their intentions are with the Food and Security Law, this article tells you when they plan to revalue the currency because of what their actions are with the Food and Security Law during an active budget period, okay? I've removed the details so you guys are not able to see what this article is telling you. Okay? But I'm just showing you, you have to study this through their actions, because these previous articles I've showed you will never reveal the honest truth to you about when or what they plan to do with the exchange rate. They cannot tell you, due to insider trading laws, they cannot tell you that they plan to increase the exchange rate greater than zero going to international levels. They cannot share that or reveal that to you. So this is the level we study right here. This, if you knew the details in this article, you would know exactly when they plan to revalue the currency. This is what we study on Patreon. You guys are the best. Have a great evening. Take care.